Microphone working?
There it is. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarian friends and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Pleasanton. Thank you. All right. Pledge allegiance, Mr. First.
Gentlemen and ladies, please face the flag and say the pledge to the greatest country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible.
All right, so thank the tennis teachers, Julia Leon, not the CBA, her cashier, and Kathy, and I think for helping coordinate all that. All right, so we're gonna jump into week here. Do you have any week here? All right. Pardon me. Okay, we have our song.
Hello, Rotarians and guests. Today we're going to sing One Heart, One Club. Let's go to it.
One heart, one club, one club. Let's get together, do good, have fun. We do wheelchairs and the spirit run. Let's get together, do good, have fun. Rotary gives thanks and when the work is done, let's get together, do good, have fun. One heart, one club, one club. Let's get together, do good, have fun. Peace to service, a new day's come. Let's get together, do good, have fun. Mother, daughter, father, son. Let's get together, do good, have fun. One heart, one club, one club. Let's get together, do good, have fun. One heart, one club. Let's get together, do good, have fun.
Okay, Mr. Annis. Insurance broker at Rosemary.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. I have asked to do the inspiration today. And the inspiration is going to be in three stages. I'm sorry. The first stage is a little bit light, I think. Jerry says, where do rainbows go when they're bad? Where? To Prism. It's a light sentence. My son asked what the ninth letter of the alphabet was. It was a complete guess, but I was right.
Another Bob.
These are a little bit more informational. Greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we fail. Now make fun of that. Go ahead. You can give without loving, but you can never love without giving.
Very well, very good. Well said.
Karnak says, while we are postponing, life speeds by. Thank you very much. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. Think about that. He loved them, and she will this afternoon when she hears them for the first time. Love is a springtime plant that perfumes everything with its hope, even the ruins to which it clings. Think about that one. I'm gonna repeat that. This is really heavy. Love is a springtime plant that perfumes everything with its hope, even the ruins to which it clings. Lastly, I gave this about 5 years ago or so, but it paints a picture in my mind as to why we should be careful as to what we say. There once was a little boy who had a bad temper. His father gave him a bag of nails and told him every time he lost his temper, he must hammer a nail into the back of the fence in the backyard. The first day, the boy had driven 37 nails into the fence. For the next few weeks, as he learned to control his anger and rage, the number of nails hammered daily gradually dwindled down. He discovered it was easier to hold his temper than to drive the nails into that fence. Finally, the day came when the boy didn't lose his temper at all. He told his father about it, and the father suggested that the boy now pull out one nail for each day that he was able to hold his temper. The days passed, and the young boy was finally able to tell his father that all the nails were removed from the fence. The father took his son by the hand and led him to the fence and said, "You have done well, my son, but look at the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar, just like this one. You can put a knife into a person and draw it out, but it won't matter how many times you say, 'I'm sorry,' the wound is still there." Thank you.
All right, so visiting Rotarians, yes. We have at least one visiting Rotarian, it should be a man. Bob's looking around. Okay,
7 months in. It's 7 months in.
oh. All right, the way this is supposed to happen is somebody should introduce.
I am Bob Tutton. Bob, President Gary, fellow Rotarians. Honored to have Bob here today from the Pleasanton Club of
Dublin.
Contractor, Bob Tutton.
Not bad for your first try, Ted.
I think the guest speaker gets it later. Okay, is that it?
We have one Rotarian on Zoom.
All right, Clark Pan, representative of the Pleasanton Whiskey Tasting Club.
You want to say
Robert
hello?
Burns dinner tomorrow night.
We should do a TTT out of that or something. Or a fourth TT. All right, quite good to have you with us. Okay, so it's next with disappointment and exhilaration that I make the announcement we're going to be changing locations from here to Ruby and Roses on Main Street. And we would appreciate our help. The caterers have been great here. The fairgrounds have been great to us. So it's a little disappointing to leave, but they'd have given us the farmhouse back, we'd have stayed. But that's crying in the wind. So Rubies and Roses, did everybody know they honored the Oasis and they're really good. Beautiful, beautiful venue. Food should be awesome too.
March 9th.
March 9th is our first day.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today.
All right.
You want to do that as a group, Brad? Thank you. All right, Ricky. No.
Yeah, so next week is our last week here, so maybe we could remember to bring some pocket cash money to thank the caterer who's been so good to us and helped us over the time that we've been here. I just think that'd be a great gesture. Anyway, if I could have Seema Chawla and Rashmi Judd come forward, please. We want to introduce two new Rotarians that have just joined our club today. This is for you, Seema, and this is for you, Rashmi. So they have a certificate of membership, they got the red badge in there, they got the four-way test in there, and they have a Rotary pen that they can proudly wear. So I get the pleasure of going through a membership orientation with all of our new members, and so I'm gonna do a brief interview of each of them so they can tell you a little bit about themselves. So Seema and I met because we're on the board of Sunflower Hill together, and Herb Ritter almost tried to steal her to PNR, but I wouldn't let that happen. And so, so we got her to come here. Anyway, so Seema, tell us a little bit, first of all, about your family background.
So I have a wonderful family. I've lived in the Bay Area for about 29 years. And my business has been in Pleasanton for about 20 plus years. I have a wonderful husband. I have two teenagers at home. My daughter is a junior. She'll be very busy this year, filling out her applications for different universities. She wants to be an astrophysicist. Her dream is to meet Elon Musk. I know why, but her dream job is to work for NASA and SpaceX. So she's a brilliant child. I'm excited for this year and next year. My son is still in middle school, so that's my family. Okay. I am a foodie. I love trying different foods. So that's my hobby. I love movies. I love traveling a lot to different places. And so far, my favorite place has been Switzerland. I can't get enough of that. It's amazing. Funny, I don't know, but I'll share something interesting about me. I'm an avid yoga practitioner. I love yoga, and I love teaching people different techniques of breathing, to help out or ease out on a daily basis stress that we go through. So if anyone's interested, I can definitely give them some tips on yoga breathing techniques. I went through, the reason I joined Rotary is because of wonderful people like you, what you've been doing for the community. And that's been my passion, doing community service. And the two committees or areas of services that I would really be interested in the wheelchair distribution around the world and scholarship for students. So, that's really close to my heart, is serving people who are in need and who have been overlooked around the world. And I know there's another area I'm really, I've been doing a lot of service and helping battered women around the world and in our community. I know that's not part of our Rotary Club, but these three causes are close to my heart. So I would be thrilled to be involved in those two.
Not to mention Sunflower Hill, as I said, we're on the board together at Sunflower Hill, so she was involved in that. Thank you so much, and why don't we bring up,
I want to thank Ricky and Stephen Dorn and Randy Brown for introducing me to this club. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
stay up here, we'll give you both, okay, go ahead, Rashmi, come on over. So, same thing for you, Rashmi, tell us about your family.
Hi, I'm Rashmi Judge, and I've been living in Pleasanton for almost 20 years. I came to California 25 years ago when I met my husband and was it good? Okay. I wasn't sure here. So I came to California 25 years ago when I met my husband. I have a beautiful family, a son who is 19 and a 20-year-old daughter who is at a university in Chicago, and my son who's currently at home will be joining university soon. And my husband is an attorney. He's been working at a law firm out of Palo Alto for the past 25 years. And about myself, so I basically come from a totally different world of pharmaceutical sales. I have a master's degree in chemistry, and I worked for Pfizer and Wyatt Pharma for many years. Then I took like a 10-year hiatus where I raised my family, and then I came back in a totally different profession, joined Deanna Armario's team. So I look forward to this new phase in my life of working as a realtor. So I would like to call myself the new realtor in Pleasanton, and one of the newest members, I guess, apart from Seema, of the Rotary Club, and I hope to be of service. So just like Seema, I am an avid yoga fan. I have done yoga all my life, working towards my 200 hours of teacher training. And I love getting people together for retreats, yoga-related retreats that I've done in the past. And travel, just like Seema said, travel is a big part of my life. I enjoy travel and I love getting people together. So I would like to say that is one of my main skills is I love connecting people. So that's where I enjoy that. Something funny. So when I got done with my master's degree in chemistry, I wanted to do something totally different, and I learned professional. Basically, I became a classical jazz dancer for a while. I joined a troupe, and I did that for a couple of years, and I love dancing. So that's just fun. Well, I haven't done it in many years now, many years, but that's been my past. So it's just funny to me that I did something so passionately and I'm coming for you.
And actually, what brought you to our club and what areas?
Basically, Deanna brought me to the club, and I've been really interested in being part of the community for a while. I have done some charity work through different organizations. There is one called AIF, which is America India Foundation. So my husband and I have been a big part of that, and we have donated a lot of our time and money, and we've been a big part of that, and several other communities. I'm also very passionate about some of the areas that Seema talked about, battered women, child abuse, like what we heard last time. That's something that really, something that I would love to help out with. Within the committees, I think the program committee, I feel, is most suitable because I love connecting people. I love bringing in speakers who are experts in their field. So I feel like that'll be a good fit for me.
Give her a hand. Give her both a hand. And Steve Hoyt-Thompson, our membership chair, has something to say because.
Yeah, I just want to welcome you both. Thank you very much. I also want to give a shout out to Deanna, who has been a catalyst for so many of our members. And I'm proud to say that we set a goal of 12 new members this year. And we reached the goal. And we have a new membership application today. So it'll be 13. So we're making great momentum. And I just want to encourage you all. We made it much easier to recommend new members. So let Ricky and I know, and we'll be happy to facilitate. Thanks a lot. And thank you really to Ricky for doing most of this.
Yeah. For you in the back, hopefully we have those out. If not, Marjorie or somebody will help us. We can have a shirt look like this.
Just women.
And I just discovered, we didn't know this before, Rashmi and me happen to be neighbors and we didn't know that.
You and Julio.
So I have a number of announcements today, and I'm gonna start with our scholarship committee. For the last 8 years, Nancy Harrington has been running that committee. We've done a tremendous amount of good in giving scholarships out to kids. I think, what was it, 13 graduating seniors and 7 returning college students received scholarships last year, 20 people. What was it, about $70,000 in total for all of those scholarships? You may or may not know, but Nancy and Gary are really, really involved in WASH, and Nancy's done all the service she needs to do for scholarships. So she's stepping down from that at the end of this term, which is June 30th. I think Seema, you would be a fantastic new chair for our scholarship committee. We have a tenured, seasoned committee of members that know how to handle this. So after the meeting, if you two can talk to each other, maybe you can make some magic happen. Okay, so that's just what happens when you hand me a microphone. Okay. And then Rashmi, I think the programs will work out well for you too. You might want to also talk with Mark about public image, because we're trying to get some younger people to work on that, and you're younger than a lot of people in this room. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is, why are we here? Why are we in Rotary? We're here to do good and have fun. How do we do good? We do good by all the things I just talked about: scholarships, wheelchairs, WASH projects, and community grants that we give out. The community grants, we just finished doing that approval last week, and we're awarding some $27,000 worth of community grants, which is fabulous. We're going to be really helping a lot of local organizations in our community. But how do we raise that money? Well, we do it with 2 major events, and that's the Spirit Run, Halloween Spirit Run, and then the poker event. So on the Halloween Spirit Run, it takes the entire club to run that event. Everybody in this club is required to do something for this event. And many people sitting in this room have been doing it for years and years and years and years. So much. We need a chair to run. And if it happens to be a new person, that's okay, because there's a lot of mentorship that's available in this room to mentor a new person. So if somebody wants to step forward and be a spirit chair, we need to do that in the next few weeks, at least, because it takes that long to plan and run this entire event. Last year, we paid an outside organization, and we lost $4,000 of what we could have given away to other people because we paid that outside person. So think about it, pray about it, and step forward. Come talk to myself, or Gary, or Ricky, and we will start the wheels running for that. Poker event, we have a date reserved, Veterans Hall, Friday, May 19th. We have a theme. It's called Rhinestones and Boots. Deanna is really excited about it. She's going to go buy a new outfit. We have 3 levels of sponsorship, and those sponsors are going to get different things depending upon how much money they pay in sponsors. We're looking for silent auction items. Today, Joyce and Bob came up to me before the meeting, and they volunteered to give me at minimum a case of red wine. Different bottles, not all the same thing. That'll become part of various auction baskets, or maybe just one auction basket. If you have something to donate, you have a vacation home, you have some place in the mountains that you want to give away for a weekend, donate that. You have a trip that you want to give away, if you want to pay for some nice meal in some restaurant, whatever you have to donate, we will take it. We're looking for free stuff so that we can raise more money to give away. If you have some sponsorship ideas, talk to myself. Ricky and I are the co-chairs of that committee, and Deanna is our sponsorship chair, the sub-chair. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Julio. He's going to talk some more about the poker event.
Thank you. So operationally, the poker event needs all of us to help out. So it's just like the Spirit Run, it takes a cross section of all of us here to help in various roles. So I will be asking by email, for people that would sign up to do, things such as set up, the reception, the bar and the serving of drinks, food stations, arranging tables and chairs before and after the poker game, and maybe a picture booth, et cetera, et cetera. So when I send out the email, so please, volunteer to help in various roles that we need to have in order to make this event a success. Thank you.
It's gonna be Veterans Hall.
The Veteran Hall, just like in prior years, and the date is May 19th, and it's always a Friday, and the event starts around 6. Precise time will obviously be announced, and it will end until before midnight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who was it that's volunteering to be the chair of the Spirit Run? Did I catch that? Yeah. So you might want to co-chair it or whatever. Okay. Thank you. So we're getting closer. That's it. That's. You say he's doing it for half the price of the guy last year.
Hey, Gary, any new members that are red badgers that do a committee assignment like that automatically get their blue badge?
Did you hear that? Anybody that gets on a committee position will be fast tracked to get their blue badge from their red badge. So, all right, thank you guys. Very good.
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown. Fan downtown.
Thank you, President Gary. Recently, the club donated some money to build some little libraries. I went ahead and brought one in that we put together. And on March 4th, we will be delivering them to Goodness Village at 10 a.m. If anybody wants to be there for that distribution, we're gonna take 6 of them, put them on their stands and put them in. We'd love to have some Rotarians there. Wear your Rotary Club shirt so we can get some good pictures and put it on social media. So I'd love to have a big group there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job, Randy and team. It's looking good at Goodness Village. All right, next up, introducing our guest.
We have one more announcement, I
One
believe.
more announcement?
Mark Tanis.
Mark. Bill, too.
I don't know if Mark got one.
Mark, you
Yes,
get
he
the
just
answer.
texted me.
One thing I wanted to ask the chair, yeah, I was gonna ask Ricky if he could put the poker event, we had that website live. So if anyone needs to go to that. I want to always thank Bill Evans. He was the one that recommended, we get a couple subdomains. So pleasantandrotary.org is our main website. So we have some permanent URLs. One is spiritrun.pleasantandrotary.org. And then this other one is pokerevent.pleasantandrotary.org. So if you need a reminder as to the date and time, there it is. So thank you.
You, Mr. Bird.
Each of us at one time or another has been exposed to the notion that in some places in the world there's no water. We're working with a club, the Obiri Club in Nigeria, to provide a well, they call it a borehole in Nigeria, for a community of a little less than 1,000 people. In this community, every family has to send somebody to a river a little over a mile away each day for water. That water becomes brackish in the summertime. It's a health hazard, but it's the only source of water. Our club, working with the club in Nigeria, put in a well. It's going to cost a little less than $5,000. We have some of that money, but we need a little more to complete our obligation on this project. If you'd like to make a donation, you can send something into the foundation or give it to me or Nancy or Gary or another member of our club. Just mark your check, Wash Nigeria, that'll do it. And we're almost there. Pardon?
How close is almost there?
In terms of completion,
How much money?
How much money do we need?
I don't know. I haven't seen that report. I do know that we have a good start on the project, but I think we need a couple $1,000 to round it out. And your help is certainly gonna be done. You got $500? Thank you so very, very much.
Here anymore. Going once, 5, 600. Where's Kathy help me to write it down?
Water Foundation. Thank you for all of our.
So WASP and the Women Hygiene Project, and we have a few. So anybody like to get a deal, you want to double your money. So anybody want to turn 500 into 1,000?
Brad just did.
All right, well, if you need matching dollars, we'll have to talk about it, but for new timers, for sure, we have the Paul Harris Foundation. So you give $1,000 and you become a Paul Harris. So if you give 500, there may be some still available for our club to match, to give you recognition dollars to get your Paul Harris quicker. So, thank you. All right. Get a little international video of what it's all about.
Yeah, 1 second.
And then the next up will be our
A
guest.
world that deserves our best, where we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. You don't imagine yesterday, you imagine tomorrow. Imagine a world without polio. Imagine a world with clean water for everyone. Imagine a world free of disease, a world where every child learns to read. Imagine kindness and hope and love and peace. And that's, my dear friends, why our theme is Imagine Rotary. Thank you. Thank you. Imagina Rotary. Imaginons le Rotary. Imagina y Rotary.
All right.
Just get a foreign language.
Yes. That's our current president, Rotary International president, by the way.
Everyone increased membership by 35% for women.
So for those that don't know, Jennifer Jones is the very first female president of Rotary International. That's who you were just watching on that video. We're a little bit over on the first part of our meeting, so we're going to bring our speaker up here, James Cooper. He is the CEO, president of the Pleasanton Chamber of Commerce, filling the shoes of Steve Van Dorn, who recently retired from that position. So take it away, James.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Bill, for inviting me to be your speaker today. And I'm really excited to share some of what's going on with the Chamber, with all of you. But before I do, I don't know all of you, so I'd like to start with a little introduction about myself, get to know a little bit more about me. First of all, I am married. I have 2 older teenage daughters, both in college. My wife is from the island country of Madagascar. So quick show of hands, who's been to Madagascar? There's one, yes. Madagascar is a long ways away. Where were you, Bill? Do you remember what city you were in? Amashua. So I'm sometimes asked, how did you meet someone from Madagascar? Madagascar is on the other side of the world. You hold up a globe and you stick a needle through San Francisco, you'll end up in the Indian Ocean just east of Madagascar. So we met in the early days of the internet dating. She was living in Paris, France. I was living in Pittsburgh, California. And somehow I managed to convince her to give up Paris for Pittsburgh. And she came here, she arrived here in the year 2002. And the rest of the day is history. My education, I hold an MBA an emphasis in global management, as well as an undergraduate degree in business management. Professionally, I got my start right after I got out of the military. I was a K-9 handler in the security police for the U.S. Air Force. And when I got out of there, I went back to college and I ran a K-9 academy. I was their head trainer. I'd teach dogs all sorts of things, but the most exciting thing was building police dog prep programs. I was able to work with county sheriffs and 2 city departments to put together a program that would help those who were interested in getting their canines onto the force, the proper training to even prepare for that test. So it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed the work. At some point, I had to step away from it to pursue what was a passion for me at the time, bowling. I endeavored to become a professional bowler. Yes, it's one of the funny things about me, if I have that. I spent about 2 years going hard at that, both in some professional events, realized real quickly I do not have the discipline to be a professional athlete. So I moved that back into just enjoying it. I relocated back to the Bay Area, where I found myself in the real estate industry. I arrived in that industry in 1996 as we were recovering from the S&L fuel downturn of the late 80s. And I worked as the corporate marketing director for Better Homes. Wonderful job, professionally, a lot of growth for me. Really taught me a lot about brand management, brand awareness, and how to get people to respond to brand cues, which does inform for the job I do now. But before I got into this world, I went to my first nonprofit, which was the Workforce Investment Board. And Workforce Investment Board, I worked as a business services representative. And that is where I met the Chamber of Commerce world. Back in these days, redevelopment dollars were still coming down channel from Sacramento and the local communities. Our local Chamber of Commerce had a robust economic development committee. I got involved in that and was just taken over. I loved it. I loved the economic development focus for all the work. I loved the community element of it, where we're trying to help lots of people in the community, not just one business. A colleague said you should work in the chamber world, so I found my way in, first in Novato. I eventually moved over to American Canyon, where I became the president and CEO before moving on to Vallejo, where I was at right before I came down here to Pleasanton. So history, lots of different things that I've done, lots of service work, but really all prepared me for the work I'm doing now at the chamber. Before I go into the Pleasanton Chamber, I just wanted to ask a question, and if you've heard me ask this question before, please don't answer. But how old do you think the Chamber of Commerce is? In other words, when was the first Chamber of Commerce founded? What would you think? Not our Chamber of Commerce. Let's talk about chambers in general. When do you think the first Chamber of Commerce came into being? Say that again? 1670, that's pretty close. That's closest I've ever heard. 1599, actually. First Chamber of Commerce was born in Marseille, France in 1599. And it was the result of the local city leaders getting together with businesses to put together what is a very basic version of what we do today. Businesses supporting each other, businesses working the city to make sure that the city is putting good rules together for business, and then businesses promoting each other. So very, very old concept. It first came to the United States before we were a country, in 1768 in the state of New York, followed by New Jersey the following year. The oldest one here in California, you can imagine, is San Francisco, founded right after the gold rush in 1852. And as it happens, the chamber I just came from, Vallejo, was founded in 1874. So these are old organizations. It's an old concept. People in business working to support good rules, good business for other businesses, and helping grow the community through having thriving businesses. So now on to Pleasanton. So when I was hired here in Pleasanton, one of the very first things I was told was, we want you to look at the organization from the top down, from the inside out, try to understand what we're doing and see if you have any recommendations, things that you want to change. And as these processes go, of course, there's always something you think you can make better. In particular for me here in Pleasanton, it feels like our business community lacks certain resources that I find commonly in other communities. One of those pieces is business development programming. So I think you're all probably familiar with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. An SBDC is an SBA-funded entity that exists in every county in the United States. What they do is provide free services for businesses, especially small businesses. Business consulting, go through your business plan, help you build a marketing plan, talk about the HR questions. These are free services. They come to your business and have these conversations. But for some reason here in the Tri-Valley, we really don't have that. The Alameda County SBDC is really focused in Western Alameda County, right? Oakland and Hayward, San Leandro, places that they feel have a greater need for those kinds of services. But it leaves us without. And this is an opportunity for a Chamber of Commerce to come in, to meet our businesses, learn what those needs are, and then start to develop programs for it. So it's important for me that as my organization, as I'm getting to know my community, my organization, that I'm finding things that our organization can be purposeful around. And so business development programming is one of those items. That's come about because we are going through a strategic planning process right now. A strategic planning process that started at the end of last year through a lot of surveys, surveying our members, surveying our committee, surveying our board of directors, and trying to get input. And I'm going to leave this with you today when I'd like you to think about this. What is it that the Chamber can do to help business? What things are out there that you've experienced in your business now or in the past that you thought you would like to see a little bit more support out there? You need more support. You want something that's not there. Or perhaps there's something that is there that's just not working for you anymore. And I don't know what that is. Every industry has a little different tips for that. But I'd like to hear from you. What is it that a Chamber of Commerce can do? What can we aspire to? What can we be big picture? I mean, we want to help each business individually succeed. That's the thing that drives us every moment of the day. But if we really want to be effective, we have to be strategic. We need to take our eyes up, and we need to be looking longer term. We need to aspire to being the kind of organization that businesses look to for those resources. Not just that we have them, but that we want to. So there's a process to get there. And that's what we're mired in right now. It's a good process, it's a healthy process. We make some discoveries along the way that are a little uncomfortable maybe. We have a committee, probably know, called Backpack, our political advocacy organization, and they pick candidates. And picking candidates is a healthy thing. That's something you see organizations like the Chamber do with their PACs. But it also has consequences, to use a word. And that's one of the things that we're working on right now is, does our organization really want to confront those consequences when things aren't received well by the PAC's endorsement? To say it more plainly, if we pick candidates who don't win, how do the candidates who win treat the Chamber? And is that something that we can work with? Or do we need to think about a different way to review our candidates? So these are the discussions we're having right now. We don't know where they're going to lead, but they're the healthy discussions that bring that eyeballs up off the ground, look into the distance, see what we want the organization to represent. Did you have a question? Sure. Yes.
City council that none of them have ever tried to run a business. And if they did, they'd realize what they're doing to the business community. They don't realize if it rains, you aren't gonna make any money retail. Because there's no parking. They have no concept. Absolutely not. And I have a business downtown for 10 years. And I also own a commercial building. And they're so out of the ballpark. And I would hate to think nowhere should they be part of an economic development committee. Because what they're doing now is every business downtown has to have retail. And so you've got a real estate office that the front of it's all covered with stuff. And I go, what are they doing in this real estate office? And that's what they are forcing them in. And that's another expense. It costs a lot of money to run your own business in retail. Just telling you.
It does. It does. My wife has a retail business. Yeah, we get to live that life every day. So I would think what you're speaking to, and sort of where I was hoping to get to with this was that what we're lacking as an organization is more conversations direct conversations with our city leaders, our civic leaders. I'm not talking about one where they're standing up in front of the room. I'm talking about the kind of committee meetings where you're meeting every month and you have ongoing discussions, regular discussions. It's what I call widening the information road. I feel like we get our information really well from those that are involved, but we're not hearing from everybody we need to. And we're not hearing from them in a way that allows the conversation to develop. It's one thing to come in with your points and to make it. It's another one to listen and to open up your mind and have a discussion about this. And that's not there. We have an Edgar committee and a 2025 forum, and neither one of them have any local leaders, legislative leaders of any level that are there regularly. In other communities, 3 other chambers that I've run, we have that mechanism. We have an SBDC for business development and stuff, and that's all important too. But legislative advocacy needs to happen not in the void. It needs to happen with a lot more information that we're exchanging. We need the city to understand us better, not through city council meetings where we're pounding on the pulpit. We need to get them to hear us too, not just listen. We got to hear what we're talking about, because they do want the same things we want in a macro sense, right? What we work for and what we work towards is a higher quality of living for everybody, businesses and residents. We know that when businesses thrive, more resources are coming in, more tax dollars that the city can use for various reasons, more jobs, people don't have to commute anymore. But how do we get there? We don't get there just by lobbing bombs at them all day. We have to have conversations. We have to have constructive conversations. And quite frankly, we've got to peel Band-Aids off a bunch of areas, because there's some wounds in there that have never healed. That's kind of what I'm talking about the backpack. I'm not talking about the backpack as an entity of surviving and dying. I'm talking about the way it's engaging a process that we can still engage and should engage, but we should do it with the intention that the relationships will end when the backpacks work ends. The ongoing work of the city every day, you know how big the city is, you know how much that goes into it. We want to be an entity in this, we want to be a player, we want to be important. We got to find a role, and it starts with listening and learning, and it requires the other side to do the same. I have a pet expression, and then it's not a strange one. It's easier to dance with a partner who wants to be there dancing, right? We got to get the city there. Doesn't happen at once, but being the new guy, I have a new voice. Maybe some different words, different tones, and maybe that'll help break the ice a little bit with some of our civic leaders who, quite frankly, aren't real thrilled with the chamber. But they're not, it's not because of the chamber writ large, because of specific things within our operations that have happened. And we've never really effectively been able to talk those through. Yeah, again.
The best ways is our leadership program. And they fought it, and they're fighting it again. And I just don't understand it. Because that, people here that have taken leadership, it's made a huge difference in their lives. And it's in the city's lives. And it's another thing that they can't comprehend because they can't control it.
The Leadership Pleasanton program is an active discussion point right now. I mean, as the president of my organization, one of the things I do is meet with the city council members, meet with the mayor. I'm walking through all 5 of them between yesterday and on, I believe it's March 7th. I think it might be agendized for March 7th as a talking point. So by that time, I will have had direct conversations with each of those 5. I've also talked with Jerry Bowden, city manager. Jerry loves the program. He doesn't want to create a whole new thing because city council has beginning their on it. So he's going to support keeping the program too, trying to build allies inside their side. So that, I mean, Valerie went through the program. She's a graduate. Jack is in the program. Jeff Nybert just shouted us for a whole day. So if we can keep those 3 tight, it doesn't really matter what the other 2 think. But that's the work, right? And honestly, I want it to matter what the others think. I want them to be 5-0 in support of the program. Don't think we'll get there, but the effort's going to be made because I want to demonstrate the very thing I want them to do, which is to listen. Just be open to what we're talking about. Listen to what if use words, okay, white company, right? But if Julie Testa really doesn't like that program, can you at least come for a day and observe it before you make all these decisions? Can you understand what it is? She probably won't do that. Carla Paula has actually been to part of the day, and I think that's helped her understand a little better that this is not, I mean, it's been described as an effort to program the citizens to then run for office and be beholden to the chamber. You know, they think it's a tool that's going to replace them because they're not beholden. It's totally ludicrous. It's silly. But you don't want him to say, you know, you're stupid. It just doesn't happen that way. I want them to air their ideas, and I want to walk them forward and show them how they think about this as well. And it could be nothing more than the fact we call our process an application instead of registration, because an application implies it's closed, right? But there's a review process. It just opens up other ideas that none of which are true, none of which we say, but if they're thinking that way, that's where they land, and that's where they are right now. So thank you for bringing that up. I mean, what we're doing with the organization right now is a lot of internal stuff, looking inside. What do we want to be when we grow up? That kind of stuff. But we're also having these very external programs that we're going to have to battle for. The most important one right now is the Pleasanton, Leadership Pleasanton program. And it's too bad. But the reason why the battle is being fought isn't because of Leadership Pleasanton, it's because of Backpack. And this is my whole point. Right? Backpack can exist in the perfect world and do all the right things, but when somebody objectifies a piece of the organization, it creates a team. Now, fortunately, we know city leaders rotate eventually. I mean, Carla truly won't be there forever, right? But we have to get there. Right? We still have to get there.
But there's only two people that everything you mentioned
We didn't.
cause a problem. So maybe it's those two people.
But how do you I mean, we're talking political stuff now, and I could probably spend all day doing this. I don't want to get too far away from it. I appreciate the input, and just I want you to know and be confident that we're engaging in this style of both eyes open. Everybody's wanting to see, to this particular case, leadership survive. So we're manning the ship, but it's also a test case for me. I'm trying to repair relationships with city council members that don't have great viewpoints, and at the same time, I'm going to lobby against something that they may want to see happen. So how do we keep the relationship growing enough? And I think I'm talking about these are, yes, yeah, Brad.
Would you just ask everybody who's been through Leadership Pleasanton to raise their hands?
Raise your hand if you've been through Leadership Pleasanton.
I think there's a message.
If there was ever a need, I'm very confident that if I put a message out saying we need you at city council chambers, we'd fill the room. I have no doubt about that. Steve. Yes. No.
I think that would be a really good point.
I like to work because I'm a manager, right? I like to work through the management side. So when Jerry gives me reinforcement, Jerry gives me reinforcement that he's on it. And I know many of the staff members have gone through it. We know we've got advocates. I don't know that city council would ever ask. Jerry's going to give his opinion because Jerry's the one that's going to be asked to create whatever new program they come up with. And Jerry's going to fight for us. And so that's good to know too. I don't know how effective he will be in that. He's also new here. And quite frankly, the mayor has a pretty strong, strong hand inside our organization. Yeah, so the way the program works is that in the old formula, the city was budgeting $10,000 a year that they would give to the chamber, to our foundation, really, for the leadership program. And inside that was 4 paid-for spots. So we've had 3 or 4 city staff members of all levels going through the program for a long, long time. Yes. Popular. Randy.
James, it's been a long-standing tradition that the CEO of the Pleasanton Chamber is a member of our Rotary Club. You need an application.
That's right.
I love how this group works. So whatever runs are just got all over the place. This is everywhere. We'll talk, Randy. We'll talk. The other thing I would share with you on the personal side is I don't live in this chamber. And if there's anything that's sort of, slowing me down and making it work, it's that although I was raised in Alamo and I'm familiar with the Tri-Valley from a sports standpoint, I've never worked professionally down in this area. So I'm commuting in from Vallejo. It's the kind of drive it is, but I love coming here. I love working here. And as my girls continue evolving in their life, if things get a little smaller at the nest and I can find a house I can afford to buy. That's gonna happen, because it's really about the job right now, and it was my intentional effort to try and challenge myself in a different way, maybe move our family closer to where I was raised and or where I want to be. Vallejo is good for what it is. I have a lot of great memories of the town, but I'd like to see about getting my way back out there. So we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a moment? Any other last minute questions?
If any of you guys like Jane Cooper, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm part of the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. And we were involved in hiring, so the credit goes to Randy, Bill, all of us at the chamber, doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. Thank you, Jane, for being there with me.
Thank you. All right, past President Bill said that we should, recite the four-way test. I'm gonna turn it around. If somebody wanna. Anybody got it memorized? I know Bob. Let's just do it as a group.
Yep.
Okay, ready?
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it beneficial to all concerned?
Right, that's fantastic. So, all right, shall we quit early? We got activity drawing.
Yeah.
$35 a year.
That'll be one.
08368 684. Bill? Be ready. All right, 674. 674. Bill. Robert. All right. Thank you.
You got it.
Winner, chicken dinner.